This video is about solving simultaneous equations, otherwise known as a system of equations, using substitution method. The substitution method has a couple steps. Step 1 is to solve an equation for a variable. Generally, you want to pick the easier equation, so something where maybe you just have to add or subtract, you don't have to divide or multiply or move a fraction. So look for something that's a little bit simpler. The goal is to get a variable isolated. So generally you're working with x's and y's. Sometimes you'll have a's and b's or whatever the context is of the problem, but you want something by itself. So you want y equals something or x equals something. And once you see an example, you'll see what I mean. You're going to substitute. So if y equals 2 plus 3, or 2 plus x, for example, then that 2 plus x can go anywhere the y goes. So you're going to use substitution, but not in the sense where we're substituting in numbers. We're actually going to be substituting in expressions. After you substitute, you're then just going to have one variable left. So once you have that one variable by itself, you solve it just like a normal linear equation. You're solving for x or you're solving for y. You might need to combine like terms, distribute. It really just depends on the problem. After that, you're going to plug that answer. So you're going to get down to like x equals 4. So you're going to take 4, plug it in for x, a regular numerical substitution, and that'll help you solve for the other variable. It's important when you solve these problems that your answer works for both equations, because you are simultaneously solving two equations at once. So you're not just getting an x, you're also getting a y, you're getting a coordinate pair. And so that coordinate pair has to make two true statements for each equation. So I want to actually put it into place. So here's an example. We have two equations. The top one is x equals y plus 2, and the bottom one is x plus 4y equals 7. So I want to remind you of step 1. Step 1 was to solve an equation for one variable, and actually this is already done for us. So if you look at this top equation, this is already solved in terms of x. X equals y plus 2. So since that's already done, we actually don't have to do any extra work for step 1. Step 2, substitute. So an equation means both sides are equal. So x equals y plus 2. That means that y plus 2 and x are the same value. So anywhere I see an x, I can put the expression y plus 2. So I'm going to substitute in right here into my second equation. So the second equation is x plus 4y equals 7. Well, x and y plus 2 are the same value. So now I'm going to rewrite this. Y plus 2, that replaced my x, plus 4y is equal to 7. Okay, so now I just have an equation with one variable. So I'm going to combine like terms. 5y plus 2 is equal to 7. And now I have a regular equation. So I'm going to solve it. So step 2 is complete. Now I'm going to work on step 3. This is a two-step equation. I'm going to start by subtracting 2 from both sides. And I get 5y is equal to 5, and now I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I get y equals 1. So I've solved that equation. Now we're going to plug back in to find the other variable. So we're using substitution, but in this case we're actually substituting a number. We just did the work and we showed that 1 is equal to y. So now I'm going to go back up here to this equation, my original x equals y plus 2, because I don't know what x is yet, but I now know what y is. So instead of y, I'm going to put 1 plus 2, and now I have x is equal to 3. So I have my two answers. I'm going to write my final answer as an ordered pair. Remember the x goes first, so my answer is 3, comma 1. Another way you might type it in, x equals 3, y equals 1. But I'm not quite done. So I did just find the answer, but a good rule of thumb is to check your solution. So I mentioned that you need to make sure both equations are true. So I'm going to plug these values into both equations and make sure I get true statements. So the first one is x equals y plus 2. Well, x is 3 and y is 1. So does 3 equal 1 plus 2? Yes, it does. And for the second equation, x plus 4y equals 7. So again, x is 3 plus 4 times 1. Does that equal 7? Well, this simplifies to 3 plus 4. And last time I checked, that does equal 7. So I've checked both equations, and these two numbers make both equations true, so I have successfully solved my system of equations.